When you think of comics, what comes to mind? Superman? Spider-Man? The X-Men? Well, the world of comic books is finally changing, with South Asian characters being developed for the first time ever. Desi DNA presents an exclusive insight into the major players who are turning their fantasy into reality. Be prepared to be propelled into the super league of comic strips and graphic novels. Welcome to the world of Asian superheroes, hijab crusaders, and all things spandex.
Francis Lee is the mastermind behind the comic sensation Tales of Midnight, and 23-year-old Asya Al-Fassi has just been involved in a bidding war for a Muslim manga graphic novel. Hot on their heels comes Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Comics, who've created modern and mythology-based Indian characters for the rapidly growing South Asian market and beyond.
Everyone knows the classic superhero angst-ridden tales of characters trying to find love or fighting off bullies until some freak accident gives them a superpower or ability. Comic strip aficionado Francis Lee has had a very similar journey with his comic book phenomenon, Tales of Midnight.
Born in India but raised in the UK, Francis Lee was forever getting into fights with skinheads in the 1970s. After learning martial arts to defend himself, a keen comic reader from day one, Francis went a step further and totally geeked out and opened up his own comic book shop.
So how do you come from being a fan to then actually getting your own comic book out?
Okay, well, I guess for me, it was luck more than anything else. I've been a fan all my life, and as a fan, I had a collection of comics which just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it got to the point where there were literally thousands of comics, and they were filling lots and lots of boxes in my home. So it was either a question of getting a bigger place or opening a comic shop, and that went well for several years. And then what happened was, at that particular time, it seemed as if the industry seemed to be moving more towards collector's items and special editions and, you know, flashy covers, rather than worrying too much about the story and the content. And being a fan myself, I was also, you know, disappointed that we weren't getting the kind of stories that I wanted to read. Comics, to me, were a doorway to step into a world that allowed me to enter this world of heroes and romance.
I'm on my way. And so Francis created and self-published his comic, Tales of Midnight, which follows the adventures of two crime fighters, Midnight and Sarah, who, complete with utility belts and gadgets in sexy blue spandex, take on whoever stands in their way.
At the time, it made a big impact on me. For example, with my character Midnight, he'll never kill. End of story. No way. There's no motivation.
But he's a lawbreaker, though, by night.
He fights for justice, and justice in his eyes is not necessarily the laws made by man.
I've got to say something about Sarah, though. She's damn sexy.
She's very sexy.
I mean, you have not sort of been shy, have you, in her figure and stuff?
If you had any idea how many people have asked me to reduce the size for boobs, it's... but no, she's all woman.
Has she had a bit of work done?
No, absolutely not. It's just good, clean living and healthy exercise and...
Well, I'm now fancying a comic character.
Isn't it interesting?
It is interesting.
Isn't it interesting?
Meanwhile, behind the facade of this innocent-looking bookstore, there lurks the secret workshop of a GGG genius.
Answers online.